Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Baltany S205045. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing this Cadison C8207M, and Greg was wearing my Avicii 1963 military watch. I told Grogu that my country's Independence Day is coming up, and it commemorates when our founding fathers signed the Declaration of Independence. Grogu said on the New Republic's Independence Day, they didn't sign anything. Darth Vader picked up Emperor Palpatine and threw him into the second Death Star's reactor core while he yelled like a screaming goat. Alright, let's take a look at the watch. It comes in this nice case here. And here it is. And let's go ahead and let me show you something too in case you missed my unboxing. A signed warranty card. So if you have a 2-year warranty, so if you have any problems with this, you might actually be able to have something done about it. Also, it came with a second strap. This one's a little bit darker leather. Now, there was no mention of a second strap in the ad, so I don't know if Baltany just gave me an extra one because they knew I was reviewing this watch or not. I don't know. So if you order one and don't get a second strap, I'm sorry, I don't know what to tell you. And then of course we have a little cleaning cloth in the instructions and a sizing tool. Why do we need a sizing tool, or should I say a strap tool? Because the strap has no quick release. This is the first Baltany on my channel. Baltany seems to specialize on military watches from the World War II era, with many of them being Dirty Dozen homages. Last year they came out with a 2 subdial chronograph version that proved to be very popular among consumers and watch reviewers. Then recently they released this model with a 3rd subdial and a much busier dial. I had reached out to Baltany to see if they would send me a watch to review, and they responded the best they could do was a $25 coupon. Since $25 is more than their typical coupon, I went ahead and checked the sponsored product box, although if I would have just waited until the big June sale, I probably would have got it for a similar price. There is only one colorway, but 3 different strap options. Besides the tan leather I chose, you can also get a black leather or a black canvas NATO. I chose the tan leather because I just preferred the color, and I have no intent in taking this watch to the pool or any other activity where you wouldn't want leather. The watch is 37.9 millimeters at the bezel, but as you can see, the bezel is just a hair smaller than the case. The case is actually 39 millimeters. It's 46.7 millimeters lug to lug. It's 12.1 millimeters thick. Has a 20 millimeter lug width, and only weighs 68 grams on the supplied leather strap. As you can see, the bezel is bead blasted to match the case, and it's just smooth there. There's no writing or anything on it. We don't need that. Then we have the dial. The dial is a flat black with no sunburst effect. Then we have the Baltany name on the right. And then it says chronograph. Then we have a chapter ring with the indices and the minute markers. As you can see, the indices are a kind of a Fotina color where the minute markers are white. And then we have the minute counters for the indexes also. And these are white. And there's a little white upside down arrow. But there is also a Fotina marker also. And look at the 5s here. They're cut out for the top dial. Then we have sword hands, and they have the Fotina lume also. And then we have the chronograph hand, and it has a red tip. The chronograph hand is not lumed, which is about the only thing on this watch that isn't lumed, except for, I guess, the date isn't lumed either. Then we have a date at the 3. Most chronographs have the date at the 4:30, but because of the design here, there's no sub dial where the 3 normally goes. So they're able to put the date at a more traditional position. Kind of wish the date had a black background though. I think that would look better, but that's no big deal. Then we have the 3 subdials. The bottom is a running second hand. The top is the chronograph minute counter. The left is the chronograph hour counter, which is unusual for one of these VK movements. The VK63 doesn't have an hour counter. It just has a 24-hour indicator, so that's one advantage of this style of chronograph. Then we have a unsigned screw down crown. It's a really big crown though, and it's easy to operate. Really good thread action. You don't feel a lot of resistance when you unthread it, and it pops nicely, and it catches right away when you go to thread it back down. And then the pushers, these are real screw down pushers. Of course, screw down pushers aren't really screw down, they're screw lock, because they don't really screw into the case, but they prevent the pusher from being pushed. So that helps with water resistance, because the last thing you want to do when you're underwater is push a pusher, because that would let water in. So locks are really good if you're going to go swimming with this watch. Of course, the pushers run the chronograph. Top pusher starts the chronograph second hand. This is a Mecha Quartz, so it ticks 5 times a second. So you get a smooth sweep of the chronograph hand, unlike a lot of quartz chronographs that only tick once a second. Push again to stop, then push the bottom to reset it, and you get an instant snapback rather than a fast rewind. The crystal is sapphire with a AR coating, so it's a really nice crystal. You don't get a lot of reflection because of the AR coating, and it is domed. And I'm thinking it's double dome because you don't see any distortion when you tilt it. So yeah, really nice crystal. Then the case is bead blasted. And this is steel, although it kind of looks like titanium, but it's not, it's steel. And it's got a really good shape to it, and the lugs curve down enough so it sits nice and flat on the wrist. So yeah, it's a really nice case with this bead blasting here. Really good finish work. The Caseback, on the other hand, is a screw down, but it has absolutely no writing on it whatsoever. So yeah, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, whoever really looks at their Caseback, I mean, it's going to be sitting on your wrist. But it's just like, really, did we need it completely plain? But I guess that doesn't matter. Underneath the Caseback is the Seiko VK67 Mecha Quartz movement. And I already showed you how it operates. These Mecha Quartz are pretty nice on chronographs because you get the sweeping second hand. This strap is genuine leather, and it's a really, you can tell it's a good quality leather. It's nice and thick, and it's got a good texture to it. Unfortunately though, like I mentioned before, there's no quick release. I really wish they would have put some quick release on it, because if you do want to go swimming with this, you don't want to take this nice leather strap into the water. You're going to want to put it on a NATO or a rubber strap, and it's just going to be a little bit more difficult to do, so you'll have to get out a tool. But yeah, it's got nice stitching up here, and it's got one fixed keeper and one floating keeper. And then the buckle is a nice high quality bead blasted buckle that matches the case. A lot of watches you'll see bead blasted case, but the buckle will be shiny, so it's nice there. Of course, if I was to keep this watch, as nice as this buckle is, it's not signed, so I'd probably replace it with a deployant clasp. Good luck finding a cheap deployant clasp that has a bead blasted finish, but you can probably find one with a matte finish, which wouldn't clash too much. You will need This man, let me double check. You will need an 18 millimeter deployment clasp if you order one. In fact, I have one on order from AliExpress, but I didn't feel like waiting for it for this review. But I might just keep this watch because it's so nice. So I figure better get a deployment clasp anyway. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks really nice. It's a really sharp watch. Wears nice and flat. It's so light you can barely tell it's on. One thing though, I only have 2 notches left, so 8 inches is about the best you can do. One thing to mention though is I'm wearing the strap a little loose because it hasn't broken in yet. Once it breaks in, I'll probably tighten it 1 more notch. Of course, if you have a really big wrist, you could probably order it on the NATO, which I'm sure would fit anybody. Here's the watch on a leather racing strap. Yeah, I think that looks nice too. So this will kind of give you an idea what it will look like on the black leather strap if you choose that instead of the tan. And here's the watch on one of those Pagani Design Bond NATO straps. As you can see, it doesn't wear too high on a NATO. I think you can wear this on a NATO and be happy with it. Here we are in the Lume room. This watch is fully lumed and you're going to be quite impressed with this test. As we speed up the time, we see that the Fotina hands and the index markers are C3, while the numbers and minute markers are BGW9. Everything is glowing strong, and the best part about it is that it has really good legs and is fading very slowly. And the main hands are the strongest thing on it, which is as it should be. This is excellent lume. What do I like about this watch? Well, it's a fully lumed dial with excellent lume. It's got this really nice bead blasted finish. Looks and wears great. Has a high quality leather strap. And this really nice sapphire crystal with AR coating. What are my gripes and groans? No quick release on the leather strap or any drilled lugs. It would have been nice to have a black color match date wheel. And the leather strap is a little short. 8 inches is the biggest it will handle. Well, maybe 8 1/4 once you break it in. Do I recommend this watch? Yes, of course. This watch is great. Stunning looks, awesome wearability, and just an all-around solid field watch. You'll feel just like Field Marshal Montgomery eating his breakfast, getting ready for D-Day while wearing this bead-blasted beauty. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Baltany S205045, and I will be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. Bye.